Hi, Saturday, May 12th. This is another live stream. I'm going to be talking gold, silver, the markets, and mainly taking your questions, really. And also have a look at a couple of books that I think people will be interested in. I'm just going to wait a bit now. Billy's here today. So let's wait and see if we get anyone. I'm going to be talking about, well, there's two people now watching. As I said, I'm going to be talking about gold, silver, and mainly taking your questions this afternoon. It's 2 o'clock on Saturday, May 12th, here in London. And I also want to look at some books, very interesting books that one was recommended to me by Jim Sinclair of JS Mindset years ago, and the other one is a book that I read even before I came to London in the early 90s. So I see I've got two viewers. Let's see. Hi, everyone. Al Cubes. Hi, Al Cubes. How are you? So one of the books is called Our Crowd, and it's by Stephen Birmingham. And it says, The Great Jewish Families of New York, Our Crowd. And Jim Sinclair, whose father actually was a Seligman, who were a big banking family from New York. And so I'll read a little bit, and I think it's really interesting to read this book to see how all these families, the banking families in New York and London, they're all related, and they're all intermarried as well. So it says here, Our Crowd. And I'll put the link. Let's put the link to this book here. You can get it on Amazon. So let me get the link. This is the link to it. Our Crowd. Yeah, I highly recommend this book because it shows you who's running the show in finance. So let's see here. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning. Hi, Jane. Good morning or afternoon here. It's 2 o'clock, just after 2 o'clock in the UK. Universal Vibes. Morning, Monaco from Milton Keynes, I guess, MK in the UK. DMC, do you really believe gold is a better buy than dividend-paying stocks? I think FTSE is going to 9,000. Well, DMC, the FTSE, I remember well, was at 7,000 in 2000 when it topped. And and we're still just around 7,000. So has it really done well? The FTSE could go to 9,000, but the pound could go back down to 115. So yeah, but I think gold, I was looking at a chart today of gold in pounds, and it still looks really good. A few years ago, I remember still buying gold around 200 pounds an ounce. Now it's almost 1,000. I know we talked around 1,200 in 2011. Yeah, dividend paying stocks are good for the long term. If you put it in an ISA, which is a tax-free account in the UK, yeah, it will provide you an income, but you need to be prepared to sit through the fluctuations of the capital or the equity. Yeah, so if you do want an income, yeah, high yield stocks, high dividend stocks are not bad. James Scott, good afternoon. Had a good golf day yesterday. Yeah, Elvis was all right. We had a really good day. Actually, we played as a 4-ball, and we actually won. There were about 12 teams, and so we won, and we got a prize to play at another golf resort before March next year for free. So it was really great, and someone sponsored us, so it was all paid for, which was great. Let's see. Melanie, live shows are the best. Yeah, I enjoy the live shows. I think a lot of you do as well. So I've got 89 viewers. Um, I'm still. I'm also trying to learn how to use the software where I could put charts on the screen. This is just a basic, simple live stream. I think that will come next. Mark Wales, hi Maneko. What might happen to mining stocks in my ISA when a debt currency crisis occurs? Many of my stocks are listed in Canada and in Canadian dollars. I think mining stocks will do well. If there is a debt and currency crisis, gold will do well, and so will the mining stocks. I was just listening to an interview of this guy called Jesse Felder, and I recommend his website. I'll put here a link. He actually wrote about the mining stocks. I'll put a link here to his blog, and you can look at Mark. You can look at this link, and he talks about that. He calls them the bank stocks, which is Barrick, Agnico Eagle, Newmont, and Goldcorp. He thinks they're very undervalued. How high will silver go? Well, I had a look this morning at also the gold silver the gold silver ratio, and that's dropped a bit. It's down to 79. It isn't a huge move, but it's come from 81. Silver really, I've just also looked at a chart going back to July 2014. We're basically within a range between 15 and 20. We need to break back above 20 and also 21. Once it breaks above 21, I think we're going to see fireworks in silver and gold. But where it will go is anyone's guess. I would be conservative, probably saying that we could go retest 50 eventually. I don't know when, because that's the all-time high. But yeah, as I said, looking at the charts, gold and silver longer term, we're not at a top. We're at a bottom. The top was in 2011. So that's how I see it. Gesso, still looking for confirmation of Bill Holter's assertion that stocks are also rehypothecated, many more around than actually issued. Is this true? Yeah, I think they are. When people sell stocks short, they need to borrow it. A lot of times now, it's the brokers or the investment banks. They lend more. Let's say someone wants to sell 10,000 Apple short. JP Morgan or another broker, they don't really, a lot of times they borrow this stock many times over and lend it many times over. I think Bill Holter is right about that, and he was a stockbroker for a long time. I wasn't a stockbroker. I was more of a futures and options broker, but that's what I've heard, that a lot of times you're not even getting also confirmations or delivery of the stock. It's just written somewhere. You don't get the certificates anymore. Harmony, maybe silver will be like the oil of this century with its high-tech applications. Harmony 369 says, maybe, yeah, the silver has many applications, has had many applications, not only in this century, but in previous centuries. Roma Lawal, what type of silver coin should people in Britain be buying, please? Well, in anything really, but yeah, we have the Britannias. If you go onto Atkinson's, let me put the link here. I think this dealer in Birmingham, and he does online and via phone. Go to atkinsonsbullion.com. He's got great products, great silver coins, and all kinds, Canadian, British. Yeah. Let's see. Joko, Our crowd looks like a good read with a slice of cake and a cup of tea. It was the weirdest of times. It was the strangest of times. Yeah, it's really good read. The other one that I wanted to talk about, the other book, is The House of Morgan by Ron Chernow. I read this like in the early 90s, a long time ago. Really thick book. And it's kind of related to our crowd. And this is an old edition. It says The House of Morgan, The Secret History of Money and Power. But the link that I got now from Amazon, it's called The House of Morgan, An American Banking Dynasty and the Rise of Modern Finance. So they've changed the title, but it's the same book. And I'll put the link here if any of you are interested. It's a really long read, but another interesting book as well. And I think how can I say, I read The House of Morgan years ago before I read Our Crowd. But by putting both together, you can see what's going on. Some people, because JP Morgan was actually started in London. It used to be JP Morgan's father came to work in London for an American banker called Peabody, George Peabody. And when Peabody died, he didn't have any heirs, so he left his bank to JP Morgan's dad. And so JP Morgan actually started out of London. So let's see some more questions here. Shane Sturgis, hi Mario from Sitcup. I think for my children, grandchildren, I will continue to buy gold. Just wish the pound would strengthen. Well, yeah, that's why you need to buy gold, because the pound is not going to strengthen. It's going to continue to lose value, not just against other currencies, but against everything that's scarce or rare. James Scott, just a thought, might be a good one. Why don't you do one-to-one teaching lessons on all subjects for a fee? Of course. Yeah, James, I could do that. Yeah, and I've signed up to this cryptocurrency called Expertise, and I'll be able to do that and earn their tokens. But I can also do this one-to-one. I have to think about that, James. Al Lopez, hi Mario, a little late. Oh, yeah, hi Al. Yeah, I just started, and I was talking about a few books that I recommend, and the links are in the chat. I'll put them up, these two books. I'll put the link after I finish the live stream in there will be like how can I say, it will be recorded and it will be in my videos, this live stream, and I'll put the links to these books below in the description. But go ahead and Alan, ask any question you want. Hey Mario and Stackers from Boston. Julie Kelleher, hi Julie, how are you? Let's see. Adam Blanche, cryptos took a dive yesterday just before consensus event in New York. Yeah, I saw that. Also, EOS took a big hit. I actually am buying some more EOS today. I contributed to the EOS. They have like stages. I don't buy it on the exchange. So yeah, I've put some more money into EOS. I'm not worried about this pullback. I think EOS is a great, it's going to be the architecture for decentralized applications on the blockchain. It's not just a cryptocurrency. It's more than that. What about Chinese silver pandas? Yeah, they're fine, Chinese silver pandas. And they can also be bought here in the UK at Atkinson's the Bullion, atkinsonsbullion.com. When will Canadian real estate market decline? Is it possible that high inflation and higher interest rates will balance each other out and the market remains stable, values rise? To be honest, yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really followed the Canadian market too closely, but inflation and higher interest rates will definitely not be good for the housing market. because it's dependent on so much credit. If interest rates are rising, mortgage rates will rise as well. Brendan Fallon, hi Mara, can you explain what EOS is? Excuse me, EOS, future applications, future price predictions. Well, EOS is basically it's like an engine, or it's the infrastructure for decentralized applications on the internet, but it's going to be on the blockchain, and it's different from Bitcoin and Ethereum in that it's not, you don't have to mine for it. It's based on proof of stake, how many tokens you have, and it's much quicker. It can do potentially millions of transactions a second. And yeah, basically that's what it is, infrastructure for decentralized applications. I recommend The Awakenment. If you want to know more about EOS, he has a YouTube channel, The Awakenment. Yeah, that's a YouTube channel if you want to look into EOS. Let's see. Dancy, who would sell silver in the hyperinflation? No one really, I guess. But one thing that happens in the hyperinflation, being that silver is not as valuable in terms of price as gold, is that it can become very bulky. It's easier to transport gold. It's worth more. But then again, we could see that the ratio drop quite a bit, and the silver might do just as well as gold. James M. Hi, Mario from Canada. I understand that some silver is required to construct solar panels. If this is correct, the demand for industrial use of silver could skyrocket. Yeah, I mean, and silver is used in weapon system, war. I mean, which is not something in short supply these days. Also use a lot of silver. Silver is like has huge, numerous amounts of use. But I think again, the people who use silver, they've been controlling the price of silver. I recommend silver-investor.com. There's a guy who writes essays there about the silver users, how they've controlled the price of silver for maybe centuries. Charles Savoy. So that's another interesting subject there. Modern Man UK, do you think with 20% VAT on silver, it makes it hard for profit short term? Yeah, it does, even though some of the viewers have sent me links. I haven't looked into it yet, that you can actually buy silver without the VAT in the UK, but it's probably from abroad. I'm not sure. When I first bought silver in 2002, I paid the VAT, and when silver went up, it didn't really make much difference because the price went up so much. Silver Granny, good Saturday morning. Thank you, Silver Granny. It's 2:30 here in the UK. It's the afternoon, but it's fine. What else? What do you think about fiat being superior to cryptos, as cryptos don't have direct use value, fail the regression theorem of Mises? That's from Dan Mann. Well, I think from what I understand, Bitcoin is the original crypto. It was designed to just be money, easily transferable and safe, but it's evolved, and now we have applications on Bitcoin, and basically that's all the other cryptocurrencies are. I think it's difficult to say. Things are changing so quickly. Like, I think EOS is going to overtake Ethereum, but something could come up and overtake EOS. So I don't. It's a lot more. But I think what was the question? Is it about fiat? Cryptos about fiat being superior. I don't think fiat is superior to cryptos, but there's a lot of potential, how can I say, risk in cryptos because it's changing so quickly. I think I don't think cryptos are superior to precious metals, though, personally, as a store of wealth and money. Financial turmoil explained. Have a nice weekend. Thanks. I saw that video, by the way, you made a few months ago about Billy. That was funny. Johnny Tang, hi Mario. Will gold or silver mining companies survive the big crash of the stock markets, given gold and silver prices will rise during a big crisis? No, no, gold and silver stocks will do well if there's a general stock market crash and gold goes up. During the Great Depression, home stake mining, I think, went up 500% while the general stock market was declining. Raul Bassero, EOS over Ethereum. Monaco, are you for real? Yes, I am for real. From what I've read and listened to about EOS, I think they will do a lot better than Ethereum eventually. Many people, I guess, like you, don't see it, but I think it will. That's my opinion. You know, that's why there's a market. That's why I'm putting my money in EOS and not in Ethereum. Jane Reynolds, nice to see you here. Thanks, Jane. Now is all you have. Good morning, Glenn. I think Glenn is financial turmoil, isn't it? Hi, Glenn. What else? When will the market crash? Raul Becerril. Well, I think the top was January 26th or late January this year. The general stock market, we dropped to around 23,000. We've rebounded right now, but I think yeah, when it crashed a bit in the beginning of this year, but difficult to say when the major crash will be. I don't try to make predictions of time. I just try to look at the trends and the longer term fundamentals. EO's very good marketing hype. DAX. Well, I think their community is growing very quickly. And that's the thing about EOS. It's but anyway, let's see. Harmony 369. Emails take place on the SM protocol. Bitcoin is entrenching as the protocol value. Rhonda Rusi. Hi, I'm German. Hi, Rhonda. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, but this is in English. So, but anyway, we can see it. Litecoin all the way. Yeah, Litecoin. I have some Litecoin. APT Mario. What do you think about precious metals miners removing silver from their company names? Do you think this is a sign of dwindling supply? More probably a sign of marketing that maybe silver isn't doing as well. So they want to take the silver name out of it. I'm not sure. And the thing about silver as well is that usually it's the mining of silver is done with other metals, and it's not the main metal that the companies mine. For example, a lot of big copper mining companies, they mine silver as well because they're closely related. Now is all you have. Bloomberg article this week claims wealthy are hoarding billions in Bitcoin in underground vaults. I saw that. I didn't read the article. I saw the headline. But anyway, maybe if you guys want to ask me more questions about gold and silver, like what kind of coins or bars are the best for wherever you live, I'll try to answer the question. And the markets as well. What did we see this week? We saw the Bank of England didn't raise rates. I think the economies are slowing down, and the central banks are probably going to slow down in raising interest rates. Especially, well, here in the UK, I think for definite, even though rates are almost at zero, and the rate of inflation is probably like 4 or 5%. Is this It's the space between the reset that kills. How many do they want gone is the question, I guess. Best silver coin for Germany. For Germany, well, I think for Germany, I mean, from what I know, there's a lot of Hereos. There's a lot of gold dealers in Germany, but yeah, you don't pay VAT in Germany. So, what I say about gold and silver as well is that it doesn't really matter uh, that much as long as it's silver. That's what matters. It doesn't matter what country it's from. But in the UK, sometimes it matters for the gold, for example. If you buy gold sovereigns, there's no capital gain in it because it's considered legal tender. But gold, it doesn't matter. I've got sovereigns, I've got gold from different countries, and it doesn't matter because it's gold. William Garcia, hi Mara, do you like Mexican libertads, silver and gold? I do have some Mexican silver libertads. They're really nice, and I have one gold silver libertad, and I think it's 1.2 ounce. It's quite a big coin. It's very nice. I have sunshine silver bars. I like the engraved hologram. Yeah, anything really. What do you think about Canadian maple gold coins? Yeah, I like them. The only thing I don't like too much about the maple gold coins is that they're 999, so they're very soft and they can damage really easily. I prefer the not 22 karat gold coins or the old American 90% gold coins. But yeah, if you're gonna have the maple leaves, you got to make sure you be careful when you handle it. I think. Uh, Uh, Keith Cameron, yes, buying AGAU in Canada, best from in the country, uh, touch to transport internationally and pass customs. Well, sometimes you can buy foreign coins in Canada already, probably from the Canadian dealers. They will sell Krugerrands, double eagles. In the UK here, you can go to a dealer and he will sell coins from everywhere. You don't necessarily have to go to a website from another country, a dealer from another country, and buy it from there. You will find that precious metals dealers usually deal in coins from all over the place. And if you want to learn more about coins from all over the world, this is the good website. I'll write it right down. taxfreegold.co.uk. This website gives talks about all the different coins that have probably ever been minted and that are around from all over the place, all over the world, and it tells you, how their weight, their carat, their purity. Really good website for information. Taxfreegold.co.uk. Um, how do you store and recommend storing your precious metals? Well, that's all personal. You just got to make sure it's somewhere difficult to find. If you have huge amounts, which I don't have, uh, you might want to find somewhere that a private storage. Um, yeah, but not with a bank. Hi, Mayor. Do you think we'll see Litecoin over 250 by January next year? I guess all over Bristol, probably. I mean, these coins, the cryptocurrency moves around so much. We could see it by July. Who knows? And then it could come back to 120 by October, and then be over 500 in July in January. So if you're for trading, it's really tricky, but uh, yeah, it could be anywhere. But longer term, I think Litecoin is probably going to continue to do fairly well. Uh, Jane Reynolds, do you buy sovereigns at face value as their legal tender? No, unfortunately not. The the face value of the sovereign is £1, but they cost more like 250 pounds. That's the only difference. But if you buy 10,000 pounds worth of sovereigns and it goes up tenfold and you sell it, there's no capital gains in the UK. But if you do that with Krugerrands, you do have to declare for capital gains. Jeremy Hammond, pure speculation. Does this Iran situation put us on the path to remove the petrodollar? And do you think Trump is aiming toward a metal-backed dollar? Probably. It does put, yeah, it does put the rest of the world more towards a petrodollar, to remove the petrodollar. I think Putin the other day said that you need to have sovereignty. You need to depend less on the dollar. As for Trump aiming toward a metal-backed dollar, uh, the only thing he needs to do really is abolish the Fed and put the U.S. back on the Constitution. America's already has all the how can I say, all the laws there written in the Constitution, and the Coinage Act of 1792. It's already, they doesn't have to put it back. He just has to abolish some institutions and repeal some, like the legal tender laws. If he's going to do it, I don't know. It's very difficult to know what Donald Trump will do. And there was a good, I listened to a good report from Greg Hunter, his weekend wrap up. I recommend that. He actually thinks Trump is doing the right thing as far as Iran is concerned. I'm not too sure, but I like to keep an open mind. Let's see, Mark Jones, in the UK, all you ever really need to buy are sovereigns, fractional, highly liquid, low premium internationally. Yeah, I agree, Mark. Josh, one Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. Well, I don't follow Bitcoin Cash too much, but I saw what's his name, the dollar vigilante, Jeff Berwick. He seems to prefer Bitcoin Cash, so he thinks Bitcoin Cash could do better than Bitcoin, but he's not. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have a view on that. Now is all you have. Nothing in markets, nothing in paper assets, maybe 5 to 10% in crypto. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Let's see. Jefferson Humber, is using glint or gold money an okay alternative to physical gold at home? I think so, but I wouldn't put it. I still like to hold some of the gold. I do have a Glint app, and I've got a little bit of gold with them, not too much, because I wanted to test it. And to be honest, do I really want to spend my gold for everyday transaction? No, it's more of a store of wealth. Julie Kelleher, I don't trust cryptos. Well, I think it's highly speculative, and that's why I don't have the bulk of my money into cryptos. But I think it's good to have an exposure. Jane Reynolds, what percentage of gold, silver, and cash do you recommend? I recommend very little cash. I keep cash, I guess, in the bank that I need for monthly transactions to pay bills. In the UK, we have what's called direct debit, so you pay a lot of your bills through the bank. But yeah, keep as little cash as possible. Keep as I've said before in some of my videos, keeping a lot of cash in the banks finances the central bankers, finances the banks, finances the wars, finances the welfare state. Things that I personally don't think are right. For gold and silver, I think the ratio, it depends. It's all personal. But if you have a lot of money to save, I think you have to maybe stick to a bit more gold because it's less bulky. Um, what else? MRJ L78. Hi, Mario. Mark from Dublin. Love your work. Can you explain the statement I heard you say, which was they can inflate away their debt? How does that work? Because there's a lot of debt to be repaid. Well, by inflating that debt, basically now in the fiat money system, money is debt because they can, it's backed by debt. So if they issue more and more debt, that means more supply of money, more debt, and that loses value against other goods and physical assets and goods that are not being created as quickly. So that's what inflation is. It's the loss of value of the currency. So let's say, let's say Ireland, or let's use the UK case because they've done it more. In 2008, the pound was worth $2 just before the crisis, and now it's $1.35. So when when the UK earns dollars, that's going to be worth a lot more pounds, so they can pay off their debt. That's how they inflate the debt away. But the people who lose out is the general public because their money becomes worth less and less. So it becomes easier for the governments to pay off the debt. I hope that is clear for you, Mark. And that's what they've done throughout the ages. I think the UK, after the Napoleonic Wars, they issued perpetual bonds, which basically never end. But they were worth like 20 million after the Napoleonic Wars, and that was a huge amount of money. But now 20 million is nothing. So that's what I mean by inflating the debt away. BC Joey, morning Mario, morning BC Joey. William Garcia, what's a good weight amount in silver for retirement, more or less? Uh, Difficult to say. It depends on, again, on your circumstances, what kind of lifestyle you lead. Uh, it's not really something. I've got some silver. Um, is it going to be helpful in retirement? Hopefully, but I haven't really thought about that. Um, Amran Kurban, hi, I'm a Pakistani living in Yorkshire. I see Pakistani/Indians buying gold and silver in large amounts. The West is sending all gold and silver east. They will regret. Yeah, the Indians. I didn't know Pakistanis bought a lot of gold and silver, but yeah, Indians is a tradition. They're really into their gold and silver. I think we will regret it in the West. Uh, Raul Besseril, do you think Trump will start World War III trying to save the dollar as a Hail Mary kind of thing? That's definitely possible. The other thing as well, I've read, and probably some of you know this, but I think it was in the 19th century. Is that Albert Pike? I think he was a Mason, and he said that there would be eventually World War III, and it would be started because people were going to hate the U.S. so much, what they were doing, and it definitely feels like that now. So let's hope there isn't a World War III. Force majeure. Jim Ricketts thinks that the SDR will go live in July this year, but not for use by the general public. Well, the SDR is it's only like a basket of all the major currencies that the IMF uses. It's not. It's just pure fiat money. I'm not sure if we're going to have an SDR unless they add gold to the SDR. Then it would be more credible. But as of now, SDR is basically the dollar, the yen, the euro, the pound, I think the Chinese yuan is part of the SDR now. It's all fiat money. Over here, did I hear mention the nuclear backed yuan and dollar? Well, some people do think that the dollar is backed by the barrel of the gun. So yeah, you could be right there over here. Tanner Gray, Mario, gold requires third parties to be used in commerce. Third parties result in Ponzi schemes. Always, this is why gold will never be used, and crypto is the only solution. What do you mean by third parties? I mean, if I give you like an hour lesson, uh, you know, on Skype, and you decide to pay me with the gold sovereign and you ship it to me, I guess there is the third party will be the post office. But if we meet somewhere and you give me the coin, there is no third party. Cryptos as well, you have the risk as well that well, you can send it through the wallet, I guess, but maybe you're right. I don't know, but I'm sure there are people already looking at backing gold and silver by crypto. So you could, but physically, yeah, I mean, you can exchange gold physically with someone else, and there's no third party. This Trump, but I don't, you know, gold has been Tanner. Gold has been and silver. They have been stores of wealth for thousands of years. So I'm not sure what do you mean that it's a Ponzi scheme. Oliver Bristow, does Trump have the power to abolish the Fed by executive order, for example? I don't know. The Fed was created by an act of Congress. I don't think he can do it through an executive order. It'd have to be through Congress, and also you'd have to get 3/4 of the states to agree. I'm not too sure about that. It would be good if he could, though. We already have a military-backed dollar. Jim Rickards is a CIA spy. Do not trust him. I tend to maybe agree with you, Niels Borstelman, but a lot of the things he says are still interesting. He does have a good knowledge of the financial system, but yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't. He does work for the CIA. He tells us that. LIX. Let's see. So we got 218 viewers. That's good. I'll try to stay on longer today so that more people join in. So we're talking about gold, silver, about a couple of books I recommended. I'm going to put the links below in the description when this video is when it's published as a video. One is called Our Crowd, and the other one, House of Morgan: The Secret History of Money and Power, Ron Chernow. And Our Crowd is a really interesting book. It was recommended by Jim Sinclair, and it shows who's in charge, really, of the banking system. What else have we got? What else? Jane Reynolds, do you think gold and silver can be used to buy property when the collapse comes? It could. It could. People might take it as payment if the system completely collapses, if the fiat money system collapses. It could. It can be done now. Of course, you have to exchange it for the fiat. Adam Blanche, can Congress opposite of progress? Yeah. Two feather shovel or leaky boat. Trump would be treated like JFK if he screws with the Fed. Licks 59, probably. It would probably even get worse. All the campaign that we've seen, you know, Russia Gates and everything else against him, it would be even worse if he gave any hints that he wanted to abolish the Fed. The other thing that I think would be difficult to do at the moment is to actually audit the Fed, because all the money, I think Catherine Austin Fitts has spoken about the $21 trillion missing, unaccounted for by the Congressional Budget Office, I think. And it would be really easy to find out where that money went. You just have to audit the New York Federal Reserve, because that's where they do all the transfers internationally. And I bet you the 21 trillion is all offshore in the British and other tax havens. Now is all you have. People will not be exchanging gold for goods and services, maybe silver, but not gold. Gold will be sold to banks and institutions and traded for large purchases like land and buildings. That's true, probably. I think Donald Trump accepted gold as a deposit or for one of his projects years ago. Yeah, gold is usually worth more. Silver is the change, of course. Coinage. The gold coins. Gold is more like a bigger store of wealth. Tenor Gray Mario. A global economy cannot be run on mailing gold to each other. Otherwise, third parties are needed. Third parties always create Ponzi schemes. I agree, but yeah, global economy. But I don't think what I'm trying to tell you, Tanner, is that gold is not a Ponzi scheme. Gold is, I'd rather have, I think it's better to have a gold coin. It's safer than to have something that is like on the internet or that you can't touch. And that's what cryptocurrencies are. And I'm not having a go at cryptocurrency because I do have some money in it. All right. Rob Duchesne, 1951 Invention Secrecy Act. Please check it out. I will. Let's see someone else. Jake Jones, looking into paying my employees in gold here in Hong Kong. Why not? If they accept it. Anonymous 21 trillion was allegedly the Pentagon. We don't know. It could be some of it is the Pentagon. I mean, you guys remember the day before 9/11, Donald Rumsfeld, head of the Pentagon, said that there was 2 or 3 trillion missing, and then the next day, the Pentagon is hit by what we don't really know. Damon Wright, Mario, what would be a chance you could do a top 10 books list to read, please? I always forget what books you advise when at the library. Yeah, I will do a video soon about that. It will be easier through a video, and I'll talk about the books, and I'll put the links below in the description if you're interested in them. Yeah, Billy is asleep. He's even snoring. Billy, he's fast asleep. He snores. Licks 59. Why doesn't the U.S. change the definition price of gold? Yeah, $42.22 to current COMEX prices, which would increase the balance sheet. Yeah, it's a good question. They've had that since I think 1973 or thereabouts. Maybe they're waiting for something. Maybe it's their. Yeah, it would be really good. I mean, it would. They'd be able to write off a lot of the debt, and I suspect the reason they don't do it is because who benefits from a lot of debt and rolling the debt over and paying off the interest? The bankers. Over here, I believe gold and silver just to sustain our wealth, not for investing later on, primarily to feed and shelter us in hard time. Well, yeah, gold and silver is like savings. It's like saving money for a rainy day. No. Trump accepted 200 ounces of gold as a deposit on New York City building rented by AppMax. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Anonymous, also, could you please share your wisdom on options, expiration dates, and volume? Yeah, well, options, yeah, that's one of my specialties. I was a futures and options broker. Option is just like an insurance on an underlying asset. So if you buy on COMEX, you buy a, let's say, a December 2018 call on gold, and the strike price is 1400, let's say. So you're buying you have the right to buy gold at $1,400 by the time that the expiry comes in December. So let's say you pay 10 cents for it right now. I don't know how, or maybe let's say you pay $2 for that option. So if gold were to explode higher in the next month to 1400, for example, that option would be worth like probably 20 or even more, because you'd still have until December for it to reach it there. So it's basically an insurance. So you can, and what you can do, also an American style option, you can exercise that option. So for example, you pay $2 for it, so for a 1400 call. So if the gold price goes to 1500, you exercise that call, so you actually pay 1400 for your gold, and then you can go in the market and sell it for 1500. So you've made the $100 minus the $2 premium. But I would probably just sell the option and take the profit. And the put is just the other way around. You buy a put, it's an option to sell the gold or anything else. And you have a strike price, let's say $1,000 put in gold by December this year. If gold drops to 1,000 in a month's time, that option will be worth a lot more than it is now. Of course, you can exercise it by let's say gold goes below 1,000, you exercise it, you short gold at 1,000, you buy it back at 900. So that's how options work. They're just like insurances, and some people just trade. You can also sell the options, but that's risky. If you sell a call, the sky is the limit. So if you sell someone a 1,400 call in gold in December, and gold goes to like 3,000 by next month, you know, the seller of the option is lost. If he's naked short, if he doesn't have any gold to deliver to you, he has to go in the market, buy it for 3,000 and sell it to you at 1,400. So that's called a naked sale. So if you're going to sell options just to rake in the premium, it's very dangerous unless it's not naked. Hope that helps. I could go on and on about options, but we need to look at other questions. So David BB, do you think what do you think about the Bitcoin banknotes from Singapore? Yeah, I saw that. That looks interesting. That actually has like a little Bitcoin wallet in the banknote, so it's not a promise to pay. Jake Jones, if it's possible, pay in gold, then I'll let you know the details of how it's done. If it's possible anywhere, then here would be the place. Yeah, I think Hong Kong is very, from what I've read, and maybe you can correct me, it looks like there's little regulation and you can try different things there. More of a free market, I'd say. No capital gains tax in Hong Kong, says Jake Jones. That's interesting. There's no capital gains tax also in Switzerland. So now we understand why, you know, these two places attract wealth, no capital gains tax. Abdulaziz Alamadi, what cryptocurrency do you recommend buying? Well, I don't make recommendations. I tell you what I'm presently, I've been buying EOS. That's the one that I like. Bitcoin, I think and Ethereum are good to have. I have some of them, but not that much. Just to deal in other cryptocurrencies, it's good to have Bitcoin and Ethereum. Uh, Over here, do you like and own any Carson City, Morgan silver dollars, old Wild West? Yeah, I do have some silver dollars. I have a Carson City uh, Double Eagle gold coin. Nicholas de Souza, anything from Singapore won't work. Why is that, Nicholas? I'm not sure. Abdulaziz Alamadi, also, hello, I'm from Saudi Arabia. Oh, great to talk to some Saudi Arabia. One of my cousins, I think he worked in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He was a project manager. Anonymous, thanks so much. Oh, you're welcome, Anonymous. Uncle Deadly 75, being in the UK, which gold coins or bars would you recommend buying? I wouldn't really recommend bars unless you've got millions and millions of pounds. I recommend just a gold sovereign is the best in the UK. And gold sovereigns come, full sovereign is like 0.2354 of an ounce. And then you have a half sovereign, which is half of that. So Ituni Isam, is Britannia coin worth it? Yeah, Britannia coins are good too. Britannia though are bigger. They're like 1 ounce. I think really in the UK the best is the sovereign. Let's see. David BB, do the gold coin purchases come with a certificate? How do you verify them? Some of them do. I mean, bars come with a certificate, but here in the UK, if you go to a credible dealer who's been in business for many years, I think that's good enough. That's the way I've dealt here in the UK. But some of them can give you a certification if you ask them for it, if you really feel you need it. Anonymous, theta seems to be a very scary variable. Not sure what type of length between expiration date to buy. Theta, yeah, that's it's the time value of options. Theta. Um, yeah, I mean, for if you really want to speculate, I remember buying some options. Uh, if you buy a very long-term option, you're going to pay a lot of theta for the time. If you think the market's going to move very quickly, very soon, yeah, buy something that is going to expire soon. It's going to cost less, but the downside is that it's going to expire, and if the market doesn't move, you're going to lose your money. It's all you need to weigh up the pros and cons. Uh, Jake Jones, also no inheritance tax in Hong Kong. I think it encourages savings in real assets like gold and real estate. Yeah, I mean, in the UK, the inheritance tax is the threshold is like just over £300,000, and then everything above that is 40%. So it's ridiculous. I think Brazil also doesn't have inheritance tax either, and nor does Italy. Um, H Lover, what's the difference in value when the economy crashes between the silver round and the silver eagle? Well, I think a silver round is like it can't be called a coin because it's issued by a non-government entity, and the silver eagle might do better, I guess, because it's got the stamp of the United States government. Um, let's see. Ituni Isam, thanks for all advice from Morocco. Oh, you're welcome. I've got actually it's not a Moroccan, but I got a Tunisian gold coin, and it's 20 francs, and it's from 1902. So it doesn't really matter where and when it's from, it's still money. Alan Watson, Mario, what percentage of your physical precious metals are in numismatics? Not a great percentage, Alan. Uh, I'm not a like a really keen numismatist, but I do buy some coins that I like, but not that much. I would say less than 5%. But it's all personal. You might, if you do a lot of research, I'll get this book here. If you wait a second, where is it? Yeah, I think I got this quite a few years ago, as you can see, 2006. So it would have to be updated. This is, I think, a good book for numismatics, United States coins. So that's just for U.S. coins, the little red book. Alan, what do you, Alan Watson, Mara, do you still think NAK has a chance against a corrupt EPA? Northern Dynasty, yeah, I got out of that around 180, 190 when they announced that deal with this other company. And yeah, I have been trading it a little bit. I bought it a few months ago around 1, and I just got out because now it's back below 1. So I've gone on to look at something else, and it's just a bit too much. It's huge potential. NAK, or Northern Dynasty Minerals. They potentially have the biggest gold and copper deposits in the U.S. and Alaska. Uh, Keith Cameron, would you comment on counterfeit gold and silver, and what, if any, caution one needs to take to recognize fraud? The only thing that I think the best way to do it, I mean, I know how to test gold and silver, acid test, because I ran a pawn shop for 2 years. I bought into a franchise and I had to learn how to do that. But it's hard for the man in the street to go buy a gold coin and take the acid and test it. But the only way to guard against that is to go to reputable dealers that have been in business for a long time. Leonard Breitling, is it going to take the total collapse of the system to release the price of silver and gold to reach its true value? Difficult to say, Leonard. But gold and silver went up from 2002 to 2008 before the collapse. So it could be like a precursor to a collapse. But like you said, it could also be a result of the collapse. So I don't know, to be honest. BC Joey, Mario, you're rich, bro. No, I don't think so, BC Joey. Over here, Mario, I'm listening to you. How can anybody invest knowing that everything is manipulated, nothing is practical, rational? It's crapshoot. Well, that's why I don't invest that much. That's why I have, I've got my house, I've got gold and silver, but yeah, I'm not really into stock market and bond markets investments that much. Yeah, it is manipulated, but I think things can't be manipulated forever. Even and that's when you get the crashes and the collapses. It's because you can't keep the facade for that longer. Let's see, another question here. William Garcia, hi Mary, are you wearing a Rolex Submariner or Yacht Master? No, my watch is an Explorer 2. I've had it since 2002, so it's an old one. John Generic bought silver at $5. Yeah, I mean, that's good. Oliver Bristow, is the precious metals acid test you mentioned destructive or reduces value? Well, Oliver, if it's a really nice coin, uh, you know, you just have to like kind of scratch it a little bit, and then pour the acid. And if it goes green, that means it's not gold. But if it's a gold bar that is like is not certified or anything, you might want to test it with the acid. There's also equipment, I think, that you can laser test now gold, but that's really expensive. So what I would recommend is, if you are going to buy something like that, that you find a gold dealer or a scrap dealer, because the scrap dealers for gold, they usually have these machines that laser test, but they will charge you to do that. So yeah, that could be a solution. Go to a scrap gold dealer and have him test it for you, or a pawnbroker. They sometimes they do have it too, because they buy a lot of gold. Uh, let's see. Carlos Perez Santala. I know Carlos. I worked with Carlos. He was a broker on Comex, and I used to do trades with him for my clients. Hard assets can't be manipulated forever. Precious metals and real estate are limited in supply. I agree, Carlos, but I think real estate has been manipulated to the upside, and precious metals have been manipulated to the downside. Yeah, and why do I say that? Well, I think the low interest rates and the Fed buying mortgage-backed securities has kept, and even here in the UK as well, has kept real estate prices, how can I say, elevated. But I agree with you. Things will eventually balance out. Gary, still, if gold and silver derives its price from the paper markets, won't they crash when there's an all paper exodus? Not really, because I think a lot of the gold has been shorted in the market. It's all paper. No, I don't think it will. It will. It will bring out the true price of gold, and also if all paper assets crash, even if gold is still worth $1,000, but the Dow is down to 500 or something, gold will still be worth something. B99 Rose, should I liquidate my IRAs to buy gold and silver? No, that's not the kind of advice I give, but maybe just buy gold and silver. Why does it? I'm not sure. I'm not in the States, and I don't know how it works, the penalties, and you need to do your homework about that. No, come on, peeps, smash that like button and give Mario a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with all your friends. Yeah, I forgot to say that. Thanks. No. Mark Jones, simple go test, magnetic test. Yeah, the magnetic is a good test as well. I have a magnet to test gold. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, I've got it here. It's a very strong magnet. So I'll take a silver coin, a gold coin, and it doesn't, you see, but if I take a metal like this, you see, so yeah, I've got the magnet as well. So yeah, gold is not magnetic, but you need to make sure. You could probably buy this from somewhere. If you Google magnet gold precious metals magnetic test, you might be able to buy one, and you can use that to test it. Put it back in the drawer. Buying gold on eBay. Well, I've bought gold on eBay before, years ago, like 2007 and 8. Again, you need to find someone who has a reputation on eBay. If they've done a lot of transactions, but if someone's only had 2 transactions, they start selling, I wouldn't do it. Win Chu Lu, Mario, young one, how much gold is in Fort Knox? Who knows? Probably not much. Win Chu Lu, they haven't done an audit for decades. Oliver Bristol, do you have an opinion on the dividend bearing envy on crypto token and crypto mining operation? No, I'm sorry, I haven't looked into that. David BB, was it a coup d'etat when US quit the Bretton Woods Agreement? Uh, I think it was more like a default. They defaulted on their obligation. It could have been a coup d'etat, I guess, by the bankers. I guess you could say that. There was a coup d'etat also in 1963, I think, when Kennedy was killed. Gary Still, how do you and Billy like living in London? Well, Billy was born in London, so yeah, we love London. uh, Pitt, is that Pitt Mailer? Billy wants his own gold food bowl. Now, I don't think Billy is that greedy. Uh, let's see. Win Chu, Mario, will you always be the home alternative views or alternative economics and contrarian views? I try to. Yeah, I try to. I think it's not hard. I think having contrarian views, you need to ask questions. You don't take everything, uh, you know, as given, and that's why I think I will, because I ask questions. Is there Vatican gold in Fort Knox? Uh, I think there's Vatican gold in the New York Fed. I've spoken about this in the 70s. The Fed, the Vatican Bank, was storing gold with the New York Fed. So they probably still have that gold there. Jane Reynolds, do you think the next currency will be backed by gold? Yeah, I think it will, because it's going to be such an epic collapse that the only thing that will give confidence back to the system will be gold and silver as well. Some sort of bimetallic system. Who knows? Dan Reynolds, why don't we get this party started? Everyone advertise and sell your silver for 100 an ounce. Well, we need to find a buyer, Dan. I think the best thing would be to encourage people to buy physical gold, because they don't like, the bankers don't like physical. So the more physical gold and silver we buy, the better. So stop buying like ETFs and even maybe mining stocks. Buy the real thing. Leonard Breitling, has the gold and silver paper market been oversold? What happens when all the paper is redeemed? Well, that's called the short covering, the redemption. Yeah, because the bullion banks have lent gold they don't have many times over. And as long as people that they deal with don't demand delivery, they can keep doing it. And that's what the Hunt brothers did throughout the 70s. They kept getting physical delivery of silver. What else? BC Joey, one thing I've learned is that I hate the way the elite manipulate the system. Uh, but I've also learned you can't beat them. We need to know how to exploit them, not to beat them. That's true. You need to know what they're doing and maybe play their game a bit. Uh, what can the Vatican use that gold for? Well, the Vatican, they're just like another entity. They're a sovereign. They're sovereign. The Vatican. It's money. They know what money is, so they need it. So the Hunt brothers wanted to corner the silver market. I think it's more than just. I think that's what we're told. The Hunt brothers started buying silver because they couldn't buy gold in the early 70s when the price of oil went up in 1973, 74. You couldn't buy gold in the U.S. And they knew the dollar was going to go down the tank because of Bretton Woods in 71. So as an American, they used to get a lot of oil. The Hunt brothers, they're very rich oil tycoons. So they were exchanging all their dollars for physical silver. I don't think they really wanted to corner the market, but that's what we're told. David Buckner, what do you think about carrot bars international? Yeah, I've seen those little. I'm not too sure. I've seen those little carrot bars. Uh, I prefer the coins, but they're okay as well. But I think people are more familiar with coins. Over here, are your contrary views getting censored by YouTube? They are kind of. A lot of videos I do now, they get the little yellow icon, which means not suitable for most advertisers. They get it right away, and then they're only lifted like a day later. And by then, I've had a lot of views, so I get very little revenue for them. For example, the live streams, they haven't censored them yet, so maybe that's a way forward to do more live streams. But yeah, definitely for the amount of views I get for my videos now, my revenues should be uh, bigger. They are bigger than they used to be in the past because my channel is growing, but it is frustrating. But I keep asking for manual reviews, and maybe that will solve it because eventually I get the green light. Um, Lucky Luke 1232. How is the immigration of refugees and where you are at? Well, I think I don't really. I think we've had problems, but not as much as continental Europe because we're an island here in the UK. Um, but yeah, I think it's been this immigration thing is a red herring, so to speak. I know it's real, but I think it's a distraction for all the financial problems that we have. But it hasn't been where I live. It hasn't really been a much of a problem locally here. Maybe in other places in England it has. Uh, James Kavanaugh. I'm in Canada and hold silver in a reputable company in the USA. Do you think government could or might confiscate such? Should there be a dire situation? I think anything is possible, but you mean you have silver stored with the company um, in the USA? Is that what you mean, or is it, or you have a miner, silver miner? Shane Sturgis. In England, we used to have to go to Jersey many years ago to purchase gold. Yeah, I think it was at. It used to have V8. I think in the 70s or 60s, you were limited to the amount of gold you could buy in the UK, and they lifted those restrictions. I think in 1979. Uh, Mario, can you put a donate button on your live stream so people can donate whilst you're on air? I can put, I guess I can put the PayPal donation, or I can put my Patreon address. I'll do that. Let me get the links. Well, I'll put the link that I usually put in my videos in the description right here. So let's see. It's not working. I put too too many characters. Let's see. Take some of them out. Hold on a second. Sorry about this. So here are the links to the cryptocurrencies, and here are the links to PayPal and Patreon. Let's see, PayPal, yeah. Jake Jones, Mario, look into Super Chat. I will, Jake. People should understand that if you don't own physical metals in your hand, you're lost. I tend to agree with that. Greenspan is Satoshi Nakamoto, you mean, AG Monster, I think. Let's do the, and I'll put the Patreon link as well. That's my Patreon. Yeah, the best way to donate is through PayPal or Patreon, I would say. What else have we got here in terms of questions? Yeah, do you think Alan Greenspan created cryptos? I don't know who created cryptos. Difficult to say. Okay, so Jake is saying that in Super Chat, you can put buttons that viewers can click to donate set amounts. I'll definitely look into that. So I've been here now for 1 hour and 21 minutes, so I think I'm going to call it a day for now. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, sorry, the live stream and the chat, and I hope I answered the questions as best as possible. And again, I'll put the links below to these books if you're interested in them in the description when the video is published of this live stream. So just going to have a look at one question here. Ayub Ahmed, Mario, I live in Perth, Australia. We have Perth Mint here, which has full government backing. Yeah, I think the Perth Mint is very reputable. So thank you for all the people, all of you guys who joined to chat on the live stream. I really enjoyed these live streams, and I'll talk to you guys again. See you later, Carlos. Nice seeing you here on the chat. Carlos Perez Santala, I used to work with him. So take care, everyone. Bye.